can't breathe. My blood feels like it's made of magnum. Or magma, I think. Magnum doesn't make sense in the context. My throat burns. My skin. It's like it's being eaten away. Who's there? Who's there? Why are you laughing? Answer me! How does it feel, boy? To know it all went exactly as I said it would. Oh, how? But you're... That you wouldn't be able to trust anyone. You're dead. The worst is yet to come, boy. Silence! You could work yourself to the marrow of your bones, and still the people will never look beyond the surface. I said enough! Listen, you can hear the scorn in their voices. They're calling you a tyrant, a soulless monster. I know you can hear them. They are not. They say you're no better than me. That you're a foolish ruler who cares not for his people. They shout about an endless cacophony of discontent. Shut up, just shut up. I am nothing like you. Can you then remain a virtuous leader, no matter how bitterly your people despise you? Is your love for them truly so resolute? No, the virtue you brandish was never so selfless. Tell me I'm wrong, some rat. It is not benevolence that drove you to take the throne, but a thirst for power, for prestige. Not another word. Do you know what truly brought you here? You were tired of people looking down on you. You thought you would be treated with respect if you had real power. You wanted it more than anything in the world. Enough already. You dedicated your life in the service of others. It was never going to last. Allow me to make a prediction. Soon, very soon, you'll find yourself drifting over to my side. You'll stop caring about the people's lives, and for that, they will despise you. You'll lose any last bit of sense left in you, push everyone away until you're all alone, and then you'll succumb completely to madness's grip. Stop talking! You don't have what it takes to be the lord of the land. I said stop talking! The people aren't the only ones who aren't on your side. Your enemies are, though. The nobles don't accept you as one of them. They'll try to drag you off your throne by any means. Your aides and the servants will turn on you. And this won't be the last time you rise in the claws of poison. Again and again, and again and again, never will you stop being the target of others' loathing. Or will you continue to act like some kind of on a virtue, never wavering in your faith in others? How long will your benevolence last in the face of dozens of on your life? Shut your goddamn mouth! It won't be easy, boy. Because you came from the slums, you'll face even more, even greater threats than I. Silence! I bet that just terrifies you. Drains all the hope from your heart. Well, there's an easy solution. Follow in my footsteps and reign with terror. Stop talking! I've heard enough of your goddamn noise. You're already afflicted with a great curse, boy. A curse known as the Lord of the Land. It's a curse from which you will never be free, and hence you will never be free from me. However, much you may come to regret taking that throne, you can't give it back now. It's not something you can simply hand off to someone else, nor a duty from which you can simply relieve yourself. That anguish and agony and misery, it brings you every day. It will follow you all the way to your grave. Just stop, damn it. Keep your babbling to yourself, you damn ghost. Go on, try and make me. Cover my mouth, why don't you? You can't do it, can you? You're too weak to defeat even a mere spirit. Shut the hell up. I know precisely what your future holds, boy. You'll sit upon the throne alone. Not a single person at your side. And not even death shall free you from your eternal solitude. For it is not but an empty shell with which you decorate the throne. Stop talking! Do you hear that, Slumrat? Someone's come for you. The question is, do they act out of genuine concern? Can you be sure the water they give you is safe to drink? Perhaps they mean to finish you off. If a simple grunt like him could get his hands on poison, how easily do you think it would be for the Lord's Consul to procure a substance hundreds of times more potent? Hell, he wouldn't even have to go through the trouble. You're no more a threat than an insect with its wings torn off. A feeble woman or a crippled slave could plunge a knife into your trembling spine with little effort. Behold, the former mastermind of the revolution. All this suffering, you brought it on yourself by trying to defy your fate. The nightmares continued. Again and again and again, they haunted me. Every time I drifted to sleep, there floated Bunny's severed head, cursing me, mocking me, laughing at me from every direction. And as he said I would, I soon began to hear the people as well, endlessly condemning me, deriding me, berating me. I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but Gratian's words told me otherwise. All my old companions called me Jacopo the Betrayer, he had said. I wasn't sure how much time had passed. Was it day? Was it night? Was I sane enough to tell the difference? Was I even still alive? I had no idea. It was always the same refrain every time he appeared. You can't trust anyone. Your friends will all eventually betray you, try to drag you off of your throne. Your people have no faith in you. Everyone despises you. I couldn't tell anymore. Were those Barnier's words? Or were they coming from the depths of my own mind? All I knew for certain was that there was no escaping them, that they were slowly eating away at my spirits. My breathing was labored, and my entire body felt like it was on a spit being roasted in the eternal flames of hell. At other times, I couldn't stop shivering. I felt like I had been tossed into a frozen river. Doctors, guards, Odilon. I couldn't tell who was who, but there always seemed to be someone standing at my side. The faceless shadows were anything but comforting, though, for Barnier's ghost constantly reminded me of the threat they posed. Quite certainly wailed like a terrified child. I quite certainly wailed like a terrified child. Everyone seemed like a danger, even if Gratian couldn't be trusted. Who's to say the doctors weren't sneaking poison into my medicine? Who's to say Odilon didn't plan to silently remove me? I didn't know who I could trust. Maybe Barnier was right. I couldn't trust anyone. Still he cackled. Still he cursed right by my ear. There's the soul left in this world who won't betray you, he whispered, laughing away. My fever seems to be receding. I can finally move again. It looks like I survived. Hey, is anyone there? Where are you, Odilon? Anyone? Lord Barnier! I'm so glad to see you're feeling well again. Oh, thanks. Yvonne were sick. Lord Barnier! What? Oh, pardon. You just seem, not quite yourself. But after all that's happened, I suppose that shouldn't be a surprise. How long was I out? 3 days, sir. The poison kept you bedridden for 3 full days and nights. That long, huh? Then I've got a lot of work to catch up on. Yes, sir, but I implore you to take things easy for the next few days. When do I ever have time for that? Now where's Odilon? I haven't seen him. Go fetch him for me. He is presently... Don't tell me he's not around. Where the hell did that old man get off to? No, he is here. Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was... Odilon?
My lord, is that you? Thank heavens you are well.
Forget about me, what happened?
My deepest apologies.
I don't want an apology. I want you to tell me why this happened.
Please, my lord, distress not over this simple old man.
Why, Odilon? The Odilon I know would never dare to put himself out in front of a gang of slum dwellers. Please, Lord Barnier, try to remain calm. Odilon was struck in the head with a stone and is in critical condition. The following day, that is, the day after Gratian poisoned me, a dozen people from the slums showed up at the manor gates. They cried in angry protest against the Lord, demanding change. Evidently, Gratian hadn't kept word of my deception to himself, so in addition to their other complaints, they shouted that I was a fake, that I wasn't actually nobility. They threatened to reveal my secret if I didn't do something about their living conditions. As the commotion dragged on through the day, people within the manor started getting restless. Eventually it got to be so tense that Odilon stood near a window, told them they needed to cease immediately, and that if they wouldn't, they would be charged with lèse-majesté. which is when he was hit in the head with a rock and lost consciousness. God, you damned fool!
I am quite pleased to see you have recovered. Enough to shout with such vigor. Now I needn't worry.
Oh wait, slow down, worry about what?
Regrettably, it would seem old age has bested me. I think the stone must have gotten my eyes, for I cannot see you there, my lord.
I'm right here. Please don't give up on me. You're stronger than a stupid rock. Give it a few days and you'll be back to perfect health. But even if your sight doesn't come back, you can still do your job. I can tell you everything I see. Come on, Odalyn.
My sincerest apology.
Please. Why do you even go and try to talk them down yourself anyway? Whatever happened to acting only in your own benefit, having them executed on the spot? They're rioting in front of the Lord's manor. You had no reason to bother warning them. There's no Then I would argue with you about it, like I always do. What the hell got into you, Odalyn?
I suppose I must have softened up somewhat.
Excuse me?
You cared so much about your friends in the slums, my lord, that I took pity on them. Old age seems to weaken more than just the body. How truly inconvenient.
Odalyn.
Nevertheless, I am glad this old body held out until today.
What are you?
I would not have been able to pass on peacefully had I not seen you recover from the poison, my lord.
Stop it. Don't talk like that. I told you, you're stronger than one damn rock. I'm your lord, damn it. My word is law.
'Tis with great regret that I must defy my lord's command.
Gah. Enough. I mean it. You stop this right now.
My warnings against being swayed by your emotions remain unheeded, I see.
And who the hell's fault do you think that is, huh?
You are the Lord. The sooner you learn to control that blaze, the smoother your future endeavors will proceed. Do not allow your days to be cut short as well, in a moment's weakness. I implore you to always remain strong. Strong and ever of high of heart, so that none may drag you down. With death upon me, my hands are shaking dreadfully.
I didn't think anything scared you.
It terrifies me to know I will be leaving you alone. Before I was able to teach you everything, I cannot bear knowing that I have forsaken you at but the onset of a great and perilous journey. There is so much more I have yet to pass on to you that you will need in order to become a great ruler. So much.
Then don't go. Stay and teach me. You said you wanted to fulfill your duties as consul. That you didn't want to die until you had accomplished something worthwhile. You can't tell me you're satisfied with this. Odalyn. 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 Don't do this. You can't. Say something. Please, say anything. Tell me it's all a cruel prank. Odalyn!
Lord Bernier? Dylan is dead. Make arrangements for a funeral. Yes, my lord. And what happened with the riots? They fled soon after striking Odilon. I'd wager they returned to the city. Thank you. Would you like something done about them, Lord? I would. They need to understand that their actions have consequences. Oh, Jacopo. They slandered their lord and murdered his consul. We can't just let them walk away from that now, can we? Then we will have them all arrested and thrown in the dungeon. I said there would be consequences. If we just slapped on the wrist, they'll come back and do it again. They'll mock me, condescend me, ridicule me, keep making a mess of my home. Tell me, do you feel safe serving a lord whose people neither respect nor fear him? Would you have an admiration for a leader like that? Have them executed. Since Odilon isn't here to advise it, I, Lord Barnier, officially order every spark of opposition is to be snuffed out. You find every last one of the rats and relieve them of their heads. And put them on display in the city square. Make sure they know damn well exactly what awaits. Anyone who opposes Lord Barnier. Yes, Lord. Odilon's blood was on my hands. My inexperience and naivete had gotten him killed. He had warned me again and again that my purpose had no love, that my people had no love for me. But I ignored him, foolishly believing in friendship. Letting Gratian into my house, and ultimately getting Odilon murdered. My trust didn't belong with Gratian, or my old slum companions. It belonged with Odilon. I should have realized so much sooner that he was the one and only person left I could trust. Men with whom I had spent years and had likely participated in that riot. Men whose names I knew, whose faces I recognized, with whom I had spoken on countless occasions. But I felt not even a pang of regrets in ordering their deaths. I didn't reminisce about the good old days. Those days were gone, irrelevant, meaningless. I felt no sympathy for the people they were leaving behind, nor did I so much as bat an eye when I saw their bodies lined up before me. Compassion bred weakness, made you vulnerable. I had to excise every last bit of it. It was the last thing I needed. For I was the Lord Jean-Francois Barnier. Hey, look at all those heads. Just put their head for trying to assassinate the Lord. Well, that seems like a lot of work to an assassination attempt. Who can say what happened up yonder?
Have you been down to the square today? I have, my heavens! I almost passed out at the sight of it. Why would those stupid thugs try to go after the Lord anyway? There's been whisperings around town. They say he was actually born in the slums and isn't a noble at all. Wasn't that just his cover while he was in hiding from the phony Barnier? I certainly hope that's the case. But either way, it's really best to keep quiet about the topic. I'll say, I doubt he'll do anything as bad as the phony but it still brings back bad memories. And things were going to be so pleasant too.
Oh, Maria. It is a shame you have to witness this.
What is this? Some kind of sick joke? Gratian's right at the very front. The other guys he was staying out with at the pub. Did you kill them all, Jacopo? You killed all your old friends? Why? What the hell, Jacopo? You never hurt anyone. What happened to you? You went through hell with these guys. How could you just having murdered them? Huh. Have you really changed that much? You have. No longer exists. All that's left is Lord Barnier. Everyone, they're all gone. You, Morgana, Jaren, Chrétien. Every last one. What the F, man? I appointed a new consul shortly after Odin's death, but he was an ineffectual, short-sighted oaf. And to top it off, he had a tendency to simply nod and agree with anyone and everyone rather than express any opinions of his own. If anything, having him around made my job more difficult. But it wasn't as though there was anyone else competent enough to take the position, and relieving him so soon would come with its own crop of problems. So I ended up using him to shuffle papers and handle other menial work while I took care of the actual decision-making. My first order of business was to establish clearly defined rules and punishments. Speaking ill of the Lord, spreading false rumors about his lineage, creating art of any form which could be interpreted as defamatory. These were all considered acts of lèse-majesté, and, in the most severe cases, were potentially punishable by death. I started seeing results almost immediately. The people stopped claiming I was a fake, that I came from the slums. The Barnier name became a symbol of fear once again. My renovation efforts proceeded as originally planned. The city flourished as a commerce hub, attracting merchants and patrons and visitors from near and far. Some fields had to be removed as well to accommodate the expansion of the marketplace, but they were hardly producing anything worthwhile to begin with. If farmers wanted to keep farming, they were free to move elsewhere. I scaled down the size of the slums while scaling up security. Lacking leadership, what little remained of the Peacekeeper group had turned into a gang of unruly thugs. So rather than keeping the peace, they largely made things worse. In response, I forbade the formation of unauthorized organizations within the slums. And with all that in place, the city was much safer and more orderly, and the economy significantly stronger than it had been under my predecessor's rule. However, those unfortunate enough to miss riding the wave of economic growth found themselves falling even further behind their neighbors. The ravine between the poor and the wealthy had become nigh uncrossable. My own manor was hardly a bastion of safety either. Not only was I rapidly enacting new policy, laws were stricter and punishments harsher than before, so many were, to put it lightly, more than little displeased with me. I had gone through several food tasters and just as many direct assassination attempts. It wasn't particularly difficult to avoid major incidents by simply suspecting everyone, but I could seldom relax as a result. In time, I came to prefer solitude. Well, not so much prefer, as require it for my own safety. Odin's death left me with more than just solitude, though. The phantom slipped free from my dreams, appearing from my shadow whenever I was alone, laughing endlessly. What did I tell you, boy? You're controlling them with fear, just as I did. It's a wonderful feeling, is it not? The look of terror on a man's face is the most exquisite thing in all the world. Silence, you. Stand by the window and listen. You can hear them all the way from the bottom of the hill, bemoaning the great and terrible Lord Barnier. Be quiet. And you know who their cries are about. It's not me any longer. It's you, boy. Shut up, goddammit. Don't fool yourself. You're no better than me. Enough, I said silence, spirits! I'm nothing like you. Is that so? Then tell me, boy, how do we differ? I don't hold those disgusting banquets for one, nor do I torture slaves for my own sick pleasure. By your command, hundreds of slaves are being worked so hard it will surely spell their deaths. How is that any different than murder or torture? Their deaths aren't meaningless. They're giving their lives for the good of the city. In your eyes, perhaps. But how many would take your side? You have no idea what you're talking about. If the people were truly satisfied with your rule, you wouldn't be holed up in this room all the time. You have no one you can open up to. No one to offer you companionship. What better proof of your tyrannical ways than your own isolation? Shut your damn mouth. You wretched man. How many times have you been betrayed? Have you found anyone you can trust after all your old friends proved you couldn't even count on them? Oh, for God's sake, quit babbling already. Solitude will be your constant companion for the rest of your days. And should you let your guard down, even for a moment, know that 100 men lie in wait, ready to plunge their blades into your back. Your attendants dream of the day they can sneak poison past your taster. Shut up. Ah, you poor pathetic child. How much misery and stress have you brought upon yourself because you let your dreams run amok? Clawing your way up into the world, much, much too big for you. God damn you! My lord, I heard a loud crash. Lord, how many times do I have to tell you to stay out of my chambers? Forgive me, but I was afraid you might be in. I can take care of myself, damn it. Don't make me say it again.
Yes, sir.
To hell with you. We're nothing alike. I'm making the lives better, not worse. I'm not a tyrant.
I started relying on alcohol to rid myself of the phantom. When I was drunk enough, I didn't have to see anything. I didn't dream, I didn't have nightmares. And most importantly, I didn't have to think. There were times I couldn't be sure whether I was in my right mind. There were times I was so panicked I wanted to scream my throat raw. But there was never a time I was safe showing that weakness. I knew from experience it would only put me at risk. I couldn't complain to anyone. I couldn't ask anyone for help. I couldn't believe in anyone. Odelin's dying words came back to me again and again. Stay strong and ever high of heart. What did it even mean to be high of heart, though? Certainly I had nothing to be proud of. Not having spent my early years a filthy, impoverished slum rat, not having spearheaded a violent revolution, and stolen the throne. Not this farce of a tale about me secretly being a noble. Hadn't been raised to be a lord. Hadn't been taught to have a proud, noble spirit. That was like what Odilin had wanted to impart upon me. The nature of a ruler. People automatically respect a man who is truly dignified and noble. They instinctively admire him, kneeling out of wholehearted honor. And that's what makes a true king. Not knowing the first thing I'd have to be that kind of man, I fell back on my only alternative that came to mind. Forcing them to kneel beneath my iron fist. 2 years under Odelin's tutelage was nowhere near long enough to instill in me the natural nobility I needed. Thus was I left to be tormented by this accursed phantom, whenever alone, and play the ruthless ruler elsewhere.
In my attempts to mask the fear lurking within, I grew louder and more ostentatiously contemptuous. Practically every other word out of my mouth was an insult. The old Chikapa was long gone, and Lord Barnier had crept in to take his place. It was gradual enough that I hardly realized it was happening. But now, all I saw in the mirror was the face of a cruel, wretched man. I even came to hate my old self. Think him foolish. What kind of a vapid, nebulous dream was I want to go out into the world? What basis did I have for thinking myself any more significant than any other kid on the streets? Where the hell did I get the idea that having influence meant having freedom? I could barely take care of myself. Where did I get off on thinking a little power would let me protect people I cared about? But what about now? What fundamentally did I even want now? And what did I have to protect? Nothing. I was too far gone. There's no light to be found, no matter how far I marched this path. And only a bottomless abyss waited at my back. I left myself with nowhere to return to.